Saffran's self-guiding nature trail. Learn how the pond area has changed from a farm field to a forest since 1948.
Hi, my name is Walt Windish, and I am a Seton Scout Naturalist here at Broad Creek. Today we're going to take a hike down the nature trail at Camp Saffran and learn a lot about the history of the camp as well as the plants and animals you'll find here.
Here's a map of the 19-stop nature trail. Each stop is designated with a numbered post. Make sure you follow the white blazes on the trees at the beginning of the trail to find your way. Post 1. Let's go back in time. If you were at Broad Creek in 1945, there wasn't a lake below us. The arrow points to a tree-lined Broad Creek that was here before the lake. The area that is now the lake was once a cow pasture. 18 farm families agreed to sell their farm to create Broad Creek Boy Scout Camp. Broad Creek was dammed to form a lake, Lake Strauss. The first summer camp was held in June of 1948. Here is a picture of the lake back in 1967 before a bridge was built above the dam. Back then, scouts swam in the lake. You wouldn't want to swim in the lake now. This is an aerial photograph of the lake before 1972 when Hurricane Agnes occurred, flooding many areas in Maryland.
Massive amounts of silt entered the lake, making it unsuitable for swimming. The Scout Council soon after built swimming pools in Camps Saffran and Spencer in 1974.
This aerial photograph shows the silt that entered the lake. Much vegetation growing on the silt has attracted numerous kinds of wildlife.
The habitat is now more diverse as cattails and red-winged blackbirds are more common. Bald eagles now nest near the lake.
The area around the pond in which you're about to hike was once the Terrell family farm. 75 years ago, a stream was dammed to form the pond. Since then, much of the area surrounding the pond has grown into a forest. Hike to nearby Post 2. Stop 2. Learn about the shade-tolerant beech tree.
Hello, I'm Doug Baskin. I'm from Troop 993 in Severna Park, Maryland, and I'm going to introduce you to the American beech tree.
Look up, and you will notice maple trees above this beech. Notice how the beech's lower branches spread out to gather the sun's rays in this shady part of the forest. Over many years, the beeches will grow taller than the surrounding maples. The beech nut is a sweet, triangular fruit and serves as food for birds and other wildlife. The wood is used for cheap furniture, veneer, tool handles, and fuel.
Learn about the eastern red cedar and cedar waxwings. This
is the eastern red cedar.
Cedar is a slow-growing conifer pioneer, one of the first trees to grow in full sunlight when this area was a field. Why are the lower branches of this tree dying? Over time, as the soil improved, faster-growing trees moved in to overtake the cedar, reducing the sunlight it needs to thrive. Cedars are indirectly planted by cedar waxwings. Flocks of the birds feed on cedar berries. The fruit is digested, and the seeds are in the bird's droppings. The rot-resistant wood is used to make fence posts. Moth-proof closets and chests are made from cedar wood.
Follow the white blazes downhill to Post 4. Stop 4. Hickory Tree. Squirrels like to bury its nuts.
How y'all doing today? My name's Ed, and I'm here to talk to you about the mockernut hickory tree.
Hickory trees are part of the mature forest community, along with oaks and beeches. Notice that the bark is tight and deeply furrowed, and the leaves are fragrant. The name mockernut, why it sounds kind of funny, is actually quite apropos, because it truly is a tough nut to crack. And once you do, after all that hard work, and you get it open, it contains little to almost no meat at all. The wood, which is heavy and hard, is used for tool handles, and of course my favorite, smoking meat. Squirrels eat the nuts and sometimes bury them for later consumption. If they forget where the nut is buried, and if there's enough sunlight and good soil, a tree may grow.
Go to Post 5. Post 5. Forest levels.
Hi, I'm Toby, and I am here today to talk to you about the ecology of the forest in the layers that are present around us.
So there are 4 levels
starting with the canopy, which is at the top. Then you have the understory, which tends to be trees that handle the shade underneath that top canopy. Then you have the shrub layer, which is where a lot of squirrels and smaller animals are going to live in that level. And then you have the ground plane, which is an herbaceous layer, which is really important because it's what keeps the soil moist and keeps the soil cool.
What birds are at each forest level? Where do you think you would find this green Acadian flycatcher? On the ground, in the understory, or in the treetops? This Acadian flycatcher is often found in the understory, perching and swooping off branches, catching insects. Its green color blends in with the leaves. Where do you think you would find this wood thrush? On the ground, in the understory, or in the treetops or canopy? This wood thrush is usually on the ground digging for arthropods. Its brown color and also brown belly spots help it blend in with the ground. Where would you find this bright red scarlet tanager? On the ground, in the understory, or in the canopy? The scarlet tanager is seen in the treetops feeding on caterpillars away from ground predators. Stop the video and read about how the levels of the forest are like the levels of an apartment house. Now, go to post 6 at the corner of the pond. Time to visit an old oak tree that was once by itself in a field.
Hi, my name's Jen Danko, and I'm from Pack 712 and Troop 993, and I'm going to talk to you about the now dead white oak.
The white oak is
the state tree of Maryland. The wood is used to make barrels, durable furniture, and flooring. Mike Hunneke, scouter and forester, commented on what may have killed this oak. Not sure what killed the white oak in particular, but we are losing a lot of oaks from oak decline. It's thought to be brought on by the wet summer we had in 2018, which enabled root rot, fungi to get established in certain areas. This led to the loss of fine roots, which caused mortality as the trees did not have the capacity for sufficient water uptake during subsequent drier years. This 1947 aerial photo shows what 76 years of forest growth can do. The big oak at the southeast corner of the pond. Once cows grazed underneath it.
Hey Jen, the area is almost completely forested now. Our old oak tree is surrounded by other trees that have grown in since then. Scarlet tanagers prefer to nest in white oak trees. An Ohio State University study found that many migratory birds, especially the scarlet tanager, prefer to nest in white oak trees. Will these birds disappear from our forests and steer preventing oak forest regeneration? Because most of the acorns that fall to the ground are eaten by deer. Hopefully not at Broad Creek. You see, forester Mike Hunneke has guided scouts into planting many young oak trees in grow tubes to prevent deer from girdling the trees. This will ensure the regeneration of oak trees for years to come. Go to post 7 on the south shore of the pond. Post 7, pond frogs. This green frog was found lurking in the pond. Stop the video, find a frog.
My name is Ethan, and I'm going to be talking about nature pond frogs. Frogs are amphibians with smooth skin that leap. Tadpoles eat algae and protozoans using scraping mouthparts.
Tadpoles metamorphose into frogs.
The larger bullfrog uses its long, sticky tongue to ambush and swallow insects, rodents, small reptiles, amphibians, crayfish, and birds. The great blue heron swallows fish, snakes, ducklings, and, guess what? Bullfrogs.
You can easily identify the two most common frogs found here in the summer. The bullfrog sounds like he's saying jug of rum. His skin fold is only around his eardrum or tympanum. The green frog sounds like a loose banjo string. His skin fold goes from the eye to the rear. Keep walking to post 8. Stop at the bridge. Post 8, red maple tree.
Hello, my name is Ed.
And my name is Ethan.
We're here to talk to you about the maple tree. all around through here.
Around this bridge here is a grove of red maples that flower early before its leaves unfold.
The wind spreads its pollen. Hey, do you see those little things that look like little red helicopters? Well, those are the seeds that form after pollination. In shady areas, the seeds sprout and grow slowly.
That means if a tree falls and light streams down,
Maples will grow quickly.
Why is it called a red maple? Because it's red year-round. In the spring, you have the flowers. In the summer, the red leaf stems. In the fall, leaves. And then in the winter, the buds are red. Did you know, if you like maple syrup, that it takes 70 gallons of red maple sap to make 1 gallon of delicious maple syrup?
It takes 35 gallons of sugar maple sap to make 1 gallon of syrup.
Push the mower to post 9, located at the west edge of the field. Stop 9, black locust. This tree enriches the soil. Question: what would happen to your lawn if you stopped mowing it? Over quite a few years, it would grow into a forest. In ecological succession, as a field grows into a forest over many years, wildlife changes. You have groundhogs and meadowlarks in fields, and chipmunks and red-headed woodpeckers in forests. The black locust is a legume. It has pea-like flowers that attract hummingbirds. The sun-loving black locust has nitrogen-fixing root nodules. This tree is a pioneer, enriching the soil for trees that will replace it.
I got here first. I'm the pioneer.
Flutter over to stop 10. Walk into the forest along a side trail to get to the Pawpaw Tree. Stop 10. Pawpaw Tree.
Hi, my name is Rohan, and this is a Pawpaw Tree. Deer treat pawpaw leaves like many of you treat Brussels sprouts. They prefer to eat other plants. Deer prefer oak leaves, acorns, wildflowers, and other disappearing plants from the landscape. So pawpaw trees are becoming more common. However, did you know that pawpaw leaves are the only food source for the zebra swallowtail caterpillars? Hence, more pawpaw, more zebra swallowtails. Unfortunately, the Maryland butterfly, the Baltimore checker spot, used to be much more common around here. The turtlehead flower, food for the checker spot caterpillars, is a favorite plant for deer. Due to the large population of deer, the checker spot is now an endangered species in Maryland.
Pawpaw fruits, when ripe, are sweet, with a custard-like texture and a flavor somewhat like a banana, mango, and pineapple. On September 18, 1806, William Clark of the Lewis and Clark Expedition wrote in his journal, "Our party is entirely out of provisions and is subsisting on pawpaws. The party appears perfectly contented and tell us that they can live very well on the pawpaws." Where to now? Go back to the black locust tree, turn left and walk uphill to the black walnut tree at post 11. Stop 11, black walnut tree.
Hello everybody, I'm Julie Seton, and this is a black walnut tree.
Walnut trees make an excellent gun stock for your rifle.
And there's an interesting point about gun stocks. In World War I, the President of the United States asked scouts to find black walnut trees because there are no stands of black walnut. And they found enough black walnuts to make thousands of gun stocks in World War I. And it was because of what the scouts did.
I'm Chris, and today we're going to take a look at the black walnut tree. So obviously, once you've processed the walnut itself, you can eat the walnut just like any old English walnut. Another thing I didn't know was that in the spring, you can tap this tree just like a maple tree and make syrup just the same. The bark itself is deeply furrowed, and the ridges are not that shiny, where the leaflets are kind of in pairs on each side. And at the end of the branch, there's not always one single leaflet at the end. In the woods, this tree tends to grow fairly large, and it grows usually higher than all the other trees around it. The roots extrude a natural herbicide, meaning that it's going to kill all the other vegetation around this tree, so that this tree definitely has the advantage. The squirrels tend to love these trees, and they will definitely eat the nut inside it. You might want to look for the green outer husk of the walnut still intact, as long as you get that outer green husk off of the walnut. And then take the walnut itself, kind of wash it off a little bit, scrape it off, whatever you have to do, so you can further dry that walnut for about 2 to 4 weeks or so. And go ahead and crack them open and enjoy.
Keep walking uphill. Post 12 is on the right side of the field. Look up at the tulip tree at stop 12.
Hi everyone, I'm John Parker. I'm here to introduce you to the tulip poplar tree. This tree has orange flowers, making it a favorite of honeybees. Tulip poplars don't really like the shade. When too much of the light is blocked, they lose their lower branches. These trees grow straight, make them a favorite for telephone poles and a favorite for the Chesapeake Bay Native Americans for dugout canoes.
The leaves look like a cat's face, or if you pull the top down, it looks like a canoe.
Look for Baltimore Oriole hanging basket nests in these trees.
Across the field, post 13, hemlock tree. Stop 13, eastern hemlock.
Hello, I'm Aaron Stallings, and I'm here to talk about the eastern hemlock. This is such a beautiful tree. The eastern hemlock likes to be in a shaded area. The eastern hemlock has a bit of history for us. We typically, in the old days, cut down the tree, debarked it for leather tanning. The eastern hemlock has had some recent challenges with insects. Those insects are the hemlock woolly. And in order to combat the destruction of the hemlock, the community here actually injected insecticides into the root zone of the hemlock trees, and that had some really good success. The other ways to help the hemlock survive was also to introduce a beetle, and that beetle in the last, I think the last 7 years has really helped, again, protect the hemlock so it can live long and be out here for us to enjoy. Thank you.
I'm enjoying the nature trail, but where's the next stop? Go to the road, turn left. You will see post 14 on the left side of the road. Stop 14, invasive plants. There are many.
Youch! This is an invasive species, and hello, my name is Bryden Stallings. I'm from Troop A74, and as you can see here, this is a multifloral rose bush, which is an invasive species to Maryland. They're fast growing, and they like to take over other plants. And as you can see, it's covered in thorns.
Ouch! An ever-increasing population of deer has resulted in a tremendous increase in the growth of non-native and also native invasive plants. Deer don't like to eat pricker bushes, so many woodlands I birdwatch in are covered in the invasive wineberry and multiflora rose. This hillside is covered in Japanese barberry, a non-native shrub purchased at garden centers and escaped from yards. Deer avoid this spiny plant. This is a browse line where deer have eaten almost all the vegetation up to about 5 feet. Safely managed deer hunting at Broad Creek, held when scouts are not in camp, has reduced deer populations. Hey Scouts, here's a great idea. To earn the Distinguished Conservation Service Award, organize a team of scouts to remove invasive plants and then plant native plants such as cardinal flower to attract hummingbirds and coneflowers to bring in the goldfinches. Go downhill to post 15 on the right side of the trail. Stop 15, white-tailed deer rubbing. Behind the post you see where a deer rubbed his antlers on a tree a few years ago.
Hi, I'm Robert.
And I'm Katie. White-tailed deer are herbivores, leisurely grazing on available plant foods, and are most active at dawn and dusk. White-tailed deer are very abundant in this area and along the nature trail. This is due to many factors, including no natural predators.
Some signs that deer in the area include rubbings where they've rubbed their antlers against the bark of a tree. In early autumn, the male deer, called bucks, may rub their antlers against the bark of a tree. He does this to remove the velvet covering that forms on the antlers. Bucks also ready themselves in the fall for the upcoming rut period by marking a territory and announcing their presence. Other signs of deer to watch out for include hoof prints in the mud and scat.
If you remain quiet while continuing along the trail, you may see a deer.
They can be quick and may dart across the path. Deer can sprint up to 30 miles per hour and can leap as high as 10 feet.
Hey, what are you doing to the tree? Putting a hole in it. Stop 16, pileated woodpecker. There's a pileated woodpecker up there. This pine snag has carpenter ants inside, and you can tell because the pileated woodpecker will drill into the wood, and it has a long tongue with barbs at the end, and it grabs with its sticky barbed tongue many carpenter ants, keeping our forest protected from too many ants killing trees. Pileated woodpeckers drill larger round holes for its nest site. Other birds, such as bluebirds, chickadees, and tree swallows, use abandoned woodpecker holes for their nest sites. Stop 17, Eastern White Pine.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm one of the instructors for the Seton Naturalist program here at Broad Creek. And we're at Nature Trail Station 17, and I'm standing in front of a very special tree. Anybody know what kind of tree it is?
Pine tree.
It's a pine tree. Pinus strobus.
It is an eastern white pine tree. Look at the bundle of needles in a white pine tree. There are 5 needles in a bundle, one for each letter in the word white. W-H-I-T-E. In the early history of our camp, scouts planted eastern white pine trees in rows to form pine plantations. Though pine plantations did not attract much wildlife, it is better to have a variety of trees in an area. Diversity is the spice of life. Pine warblers are common at Broad Creek, nesting in eastern white pine trees. During colonial times, this tree was called mast pine. You see, before the American Revolution, from 1750 to 1770, the British mandated that pine tree logs be made into masts to hold up the sails of British ships. The King's Broad Arrow, 3 hatchet slashes, was the symbol commonly used to mark pines reserved for the Royal Navy's ships. When the British weren't looking, colonists felled the trees. The eastern white pine ended up in several different Revolutionary War flags. I'm curious, what fish are found in Saffran Pond?
Hello, my name is Rory, and today we're gonna question people about the fish that are in this pond. What is this fish?
Sunfish.
Stop the video and see if you can name these fish. Answers are forthcoming. The top fish is a bluegill. The middle fish is a pumpkin seed sunfish. The bottom fish is a smallmouth bass.
Nope.
Perch.
Nope.
Bluegill.
Actually, a bluegill.
Okay.
Now, let's learn about the 3 kinds of fish found in Saffran Pond. These fish generally swim and hide among debris, or in the oxygen-rich, cooler waters under overhanging branches. All 3 feast on earthworms and the larvae of different insects, including dragonfly nymphs. Bass often feed on bluegills. Insects falling from overhanging branches are a good food source for fish. Meet a dragon at the last stop. Go to stop 19 at the edge of the pond near the oak tree. The last stop, number 19, dragonflies.
Hi, I'm Anna, and at this final stop on the trail, you need to be on the lookout for dragons. Dragonflies specifically. So on a warm, sunny day, you'll often see them perched and resting on tall blades of grass, cattails, or other small sticks sticking out of the pond. And you'll know they're dragonflies because you'll see their wings outstretched and elongated. They have long abdomens, a short thorax, and a round head that will rotate around quickly. When they're buzzing around the pond, they're quickly catching other soft-bodied and juicy insects in the air to eat. Now, that's the adult form. if we were to dive down into the pond, we would find the nymphs, and they are also often eating insects and as well as small fish within the water itself. And here again you can see the life cycle. So we have an egg that grows through multiple stages as a nymph and then emerges from the water as an adult. This is a nymph. You can see that because it does not have its wings developed yet. But this one is emerging then from, this is an adult emerging, coming out, and then it will outstretch and dry its wings before it takes its first flight. And here again, if you watch and if you're looking for them as they're still, you will be able to see their beautiful wings, and they have different colors. Sometimes you'll see clear wings and an array of different beautiful colors that dragonflies have. And down here, if you ever see one sitting on the surface of the pond with its abdomen down into the water like this, what it may be doing and what this one is doing is laying eggs. So that's starting the whole life cycle again.
We hope you enjoyed hiking the nature trail at Camp Saffran. Seton Scout Naturalists from the 2018 Seton Scout Naturalist program and the 2024 Seton Scout Naturalist program appeared in this video. Registered Scouts 14 and over and adult leaders can attend the program. The Seton Scout Naturalist video is linked below. The program is named after Ernest Thompson Seton, the naturalist and writer, who is one of the founders of the Boy Scouts of America. Julie Seton, the granddaughter of Ernest Thompson Seton, served on the staff of our last program.
This has been a fun and fascinating weekend, learning about some of the forest communities, from fish to insects to animals, birds, and their habitats. Are you a scout or adult leader interested in gaining naturalist skills? There will be another offering of the Seton Scout Naturalist program in the spring of 2025 at Camp Saffran. For more information, contact Marty Brazo at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com.